Chapter 6. The days in the simulation passed like sands through an hourglass. Slowly to watch, quickly when busy with anything else. The game let her do as much as she wanted to in performing various tasks, but always retained a do for me or skip option. Or a simple version, where she had to only mimic a gesture in order to engage whatever task was at hand. Unless Earth is a very small place, the game is moving us around very quickly, Bonnie concluded after visiting her fifth port on the fifth day. Confusion first truly struck her, though, during the drinking event. "Drink up, Captain," her imaginary first mate said, and handed her a mug. After a few such instants, her vision blurred, and the ship seemed to rock, as if in a storm, even while it was anchored in the calm waters of a harbor. As torches lit up the deck, the human crew of her ship sang out loud rhyming songs, and drank more and more until all of them passed out, snoring over barrels, or on their backs or stomachs on the deck, or staggered to their hammocks to get some semblance of rest. "It's a game, just a game. It's not real," she told herself as the stars among which she sailed in real life became distant jewels impossibly out of reach, twinkling eternally above an alien world. She reached up, wondering if the game would let her pluck one free of the night sky. It did not. "Nobody to say we can't." She thought of the line from the film and muttered it under her breath. "It's just a game," she repeated to herself, a form of entertainment, strange, unfamiliar, but enthralling in all its ways. However, there was still no way she could believe it truly represented anything that ever was anywhere in reality. Somewhere along the way, between sailing towards the endless horizon of a simulated planet Earth, she made a promise to herself. "I want to see this world. I want to see a place like this. I doubt these kinds of ships are still used. Wood and canvas aren't even the best materials, not even on their world," she thought, recalling the fourth time she had to have a hole patched in the hull of her ship by accidentally running it aground before she got used to the controls. But even so, even if this world isn't what it was shown to be in this game, if it never was, at least it makes sense. Her high-bound, stiff, and often indifferent upbringing still felt like chains wrapped around her limbs and threatening to drag her back to the way of her home world and her military. "When was the last time I was as happy as I am right now?" she asked herself as the ship barreled towards their in-game target. "Advance! Get ye to your guns, mateys! There be treasure on that there galleon. Grab your guns and your balls, and ye can grab your own futures!" She shouted her inspiring battle cry, and the cannonballs flew outward as her swift ship ran along the big fat galleon of Spain. "Make ready to board!" she shouted and rushed to the port side of the ship to leap. 30 seconds remaining. Please save game, the computer voice said, and the action stopped dead. Pirates in mid-leap, silly expressions on their face, as they were frozen at just the right moment. Cannonballs stopped in mid-shot. Smoke ceased to curl, and Captain Bonnie Ray was brought back to the reality of the moment. "Save game," she said, and a dot pulsed in front of her eyes for several seconds before the words, "Game saved," appeared and faded out. "Thank you for playing. Goodbye," the system said, and everything faded to black. "How long?" Captain Bonnie asked as soon as the real world came back into view, after she removed the modified headset. "Like we said, ma'am, 2 hours. Time is shifted for simulated experiences. That makes sense?" the corporal asked, and to his obvious relief she nodded. Yes," she answered. She reached up to the place where her implant was installed. "I'm going to remove this. I want to really learn their language, if I can." The decision had an air of rightness to it in her mind, a sense of certitude that she had set the right course for herself. "One thing, though," she added. "In the game, there was a drinking event. It made people fall asleep. Is that a thing humans normally do? Do you not sleep naturally?" she asked, and Captain Archer began to laugh. "Remember what I said about offering you a drink? I guess it seems like a month ago to you now, but it really wasn't that long." He looked beside her to the rest of her bridge crew. They were still in their simulations, but the timers on the panels were quickly winding down. "Aye?" Yes, she answered again. Come, join me. They'll be along in a little while, I'm sure, Reginald said and gestured towards the bar along the wall. She walked beside him, giving a glance once back towards her crew before they reached the stools, and Reginald gave an order to the machine. 2 Spice Morgans, Admiral. Admiral? Is that not a fleet commander? And why does your machine have a rank? What rank was the simulator? It is a machine, isn't it? She looked the robot up and down. If that's a living being, I'm a Zinni torpedo, she thought privately while Reginald slid a small glass of brown liquid over to her. Yes, it is a machine, the latest model in the Tin Man series. It can serve any known concoction of alcohol and take custom orders. It even comes with a joke unit, Reginald said and looked from the drink to the machine. Tin Man, make me laugh. The robot stopped, swiveled towards him, and said, What do you call the ugliest captain in the fleet? I don't know, Reginald replied. You should check your name tag then, the robot answered, and Reginald responded with a deep, rich, full laugh. Were it not for her time in the simulation, Bonnie was fairly sure she would have been completely lost. But after a month on the pirate vessel in the game, it began to make more sense, and her tail began to wag back and forth while she appreciated the joke. And about the rank, it's a tradition that goes back to the first bar fight in space. The story goes that a pissed-off sailor slapped a bartender who refused him service. A fight broke out, and so many bottles were broken that there was an outbreak of sobriety that lasted for the better part of a year. So to prevent that, the first president to command a united Earth fleet made it a presidential order that the bartender have the rank of admiral, thus giving him or her command authority over the bar, so not even a ship captain could order them to overserve. We continue that proud tradition today, Reginald explained, and Bonnie's tail wagged harder. It was intriguing, it was charming, and it actually fit well within her own pragmatic nature of her own familiar culture. Now, he raised his small glass and held it up, and Bonnie mimicked the gesture. In our tradition, we touch glass rims together and wish for something favorable. We call it a toast, and then we drink. As you wish, she replied, and Reginald touched her glass against hers before he said, To safe and profitable journeys. To safe and profitable journeys, she echoed, and tilted her head back and dumped the whole shot glass into her throat at once. She gasped as the burning sensation hit her. It raced down her throat. She hacked, she coughed. Her eyes bulged, and she watched as Reginald downed his in the same way. Then the warmth hit, like a snuggly blanket, but inside her body rather than outside. Another? He asked as she slapped her chest and gasped. He had that smile expression on his face again, and the way he said it suggested he guessed her answer. Yes, please, she replied and licked her lips as the bridge crew approached where they sat, and Reginald turned towards them to explain everything while Bonnie ordered for them all.